So, folks, I just want to remind here, just a few hours before President Biden gave his class warfare pitch to level the playing field, as he calls it, and punish success, though he denies that, and then he falsely charges that wealthy people and large companies don't pay any taxes. I love that because it's so true. All this far-left, progressive, woke, democratic pap stuff, there's not an ounce of truth in any of it. But just a few hours before we had to sit through all this stuff from the president, it's worth noting that the Commerce Department retail sales release was a blowout. A blowout. Instead of down big, which is what Wall Street thought, the number was up big. Even taking out the glitch for lower car sales, the number was even bigger than anyone dreamed of. And core retail sales, that number that feeds directly into GDP, came up even bigger than all that. In recent days, incidentally, on top of this, we had a big release for industrial production, manufacturing production, business equipment spending, all big. Regional Fed manufacturing surveys, strong. The ISM supply managers, strong. The 11 million unfilled jobs demand for workers is strong off the charts. And broad inflation measures may be simmering down, but they're still running at a way too high 4%. Now, with all that, President Biden, with a straight face, tells the nation this afternoon, we need a $6 trillion federal spending package. $6 trillion. Really? Now, I ask you, do you think anybody in their right mind believes that? Inflation is up, the economy is up, and he wants to spend another $6 trillion? Is there any common sense to this story at all? And playing the class warfare card is not going to work. Polls show clearly that the nation favors free enterprise capitalism way over big government socialism, like 75 to 80% more. Do you think there's a groundswell of support for picking out small businesses and punishing them with the worst tax increases in the Ways and Means package? Do you think that working folks want the U.S. to have the highest corporate tax among developed countries? We would be number one, except for Colombia and Portugal. But we're going to be higher than the rest. China, by the way, will be substantially lower. Is that what we want, China? Do we want a capital gains tax that will be over 40% effectively? Again, much higher than China? Is that what we want, folks? Or how about this? We've had record profits in recent years, and we've had record corporate tax payments on those record profits. Those are facts. All this following the Trump tax cuts. Let me just insert this. The $350 billion Trump tax cut for corporations paid for itself within about 18 months. 1.6 trillion of money was repatriated back to the U.S. I don't know what Biden was talking about today. In fact, the entire 1.5 trillion package was paid right before the pandemic started with about 100 or 200 billion dollars. That's all. 100 to $2 billion less. That's all it was. Now, today, Mr. Biden is telling folks that big companies don't pay taxes. What? It's utter nonsense. It's just not true. It's cognitive dissonance. People know it's not true. The government statistics, federal data from the IRS show it's not true. Now, let me make a key point on profits. Biden and the left hate profits. But profits are the mother's milk of stocks and the lifeblood of the economy. If businesses, large and small, aren't making money, no profits, then they cannot expand. In fact, if they're not making any money, they'll have to lay off workers, and they will surely cut wages. Our pal Dan Clifton estimates that the Ways and Means bill could cut S&P 500 profits by $100 billion. That is nearly half of the expected profit gain next year. $100 billion in lost profits. What's that mean? Means no wage increases for the blue-collar middle-class workforce. It means no investment in new business equipment and technology to make the workforce more productive. And that means going back to the zero stagnation days for family income, which was the hallmark of the Obama-Biden period before Trump's tax cuts. Tax companies more, and you will get less of it. You will get wage stagnation. You will slow the entire economy down. The Biden plan will throw a wet blanket over a very healthy pandemic recovery. You know, I've said repeatedly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Smart policy, frankly, would have made the Trump tax cuts permanent because they work so well for record low unemployment, including women and minorities, and record high real wages, and record declines in poverty and income inequality. Do you know that the Biden tax hike, at least the corporate tax hike coming out of Ways and Means, is 3 times the size of the Trump tax cuts? Go figure. So, yeah, Mr. Biden wants to level the playing field. Now, that suggests to me he wants to make all of us poorer, not more prosperous. I don't like leveling. I like increasing. I like opportunity. I like rewarding success. And these are all reasons why I firmly believe we must save America by killing the bill. Now, there's more, a lot more. I want to get to Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy as soon as I can. Just let me note finally, all these good left-wing intentions to include increased subsidies for child care, dependent care, nutrition, the child tax credit, free community college, more Obamacare, more Medicaid, more, and more. None of these mores have a single workfare requirement. None. There are no work incentives. None. What you have is government welfare dependency on a grand scale. And this cuts to the very heart of America's social fabric, which Democrats want to transform into big government socialism. And in some sectors, I'm thinking healthcare, I'm thinking energy, they literally want to take over the means of production. It's more insanity. So I'll just conclude. Save the country. Kill the bill. That's my take.